Hello YouTube, what is going on? Welcome back to Mass Effect episode 5, and in this episode we are gonna get to know the crew, and then if we have time head off from the Citadel. As you can see from the windows that we're still in our dock, we haven't left, but like I said, we're gonna get to know the crew better. Obviously we've seen most of the faces, but we haven't exactly talked to them, so now we have the chance to get to know who they really are and why they're here, blah blah blah. We did talk to Dr. Chakwas in the first episode or in the second one, so we know about her, but there are more people on the ship than her, so that's going to be, in my opinion, quite interesting, you know, to get to know these people who are with us, what they want to do, their ambitions and so on, you know, if we can ask them, and yeah, and just generally, you know, have a little bit chit chat with them, or talk shop, or whatever you want to call it. So first of all, Joker is up here in the front, and we're going to talk to him.
Commander, something you need?
Let's talk about you.
I'd like to know my crew. Mind if I ask you a few questions?
I can see where this is going. You did a background check on me, didn't you? Well, I'll tell you the same thing I told the captain. You want me as your pilot. I'm not good. I'm not even great. I am the best damn helmsman in the Alliance fleet. Top of my class in flight school, I earned that. All those commendations in my file, I earned every single one. Those weren't given to me as charity for my disease.
Oh, you're sick? You seem like you're
Sorry, Joker. I didn't even know you were sick.
You mean you didn't know? Oh, crap. Okay, I've got Vrolik syndrome, brittle bone disease. The bones in my legs never develop properly. They're basically hollow, too much force and they'll shatter. Even with crutches and my leg braces, it's hard to get around. One wrong step and crack! It's very dramatic, but I've learned to manage my condition, Commander. Put the Normandy in my hands and I'll make her dance for you. Just don't ask me to get up and dance unless, you know, you like the sound of snapping shin bones.
Oh god. Oh no, I don't want to hear that.
Why does everyone call you Joker?
It's a lot shorter than saying Alliance Flight Lieutenant Jeff Moreau. Plus, I love to make little children laugh.
Yeah,
I'm just
right.
thinking how much you remind me of Santa Claus.
Look, I didn't pick the name. One of the instructors in flight school used to bug me about never smiling. She started calling me Joker, and it stuck.
Right.
Why didn't you ever smile?
Hey, I worked my ass off in flight school, Commander. The world's not gonna hand you anything if you go around grinning like an idiot. By the end of the year, I was the best pilot in the academy. Even better than the instructors, and everybody knew it. They'd all got their asses kicked by the sickly kid with the creaky little legs. One guess who was smiling at graduation?
Oh, fair enough, bro.
I need to know more about this Vrolik syndrome if I'm putting my ship in your hands.
Yeah, of course you do. It's an extremely rare condition. Nobody knows exactly what causes it. Genetic, maybe. It's treatable, but there's no cure. They classify my case as moderate to severe. I was born with over a dozen fractures, hip, thighs, ankles. My bones were already breaking in the womb. 100 years ago, I wouldn't have survived past my first year. Lucky for me, modern medical science has turned me into a productive member of society. And if you can't tell, I like Joker. His character is so well done, and on top of that, you know, he has this disease which is really, you know, unfortunate for him, but at the same time, he doesn't let that dictate his life and what he wants to do in it, and he has, like, a funny way of talking around it, which is so nice, like, oh. But how do you do your job then?
You're not gonna break a bone trying to fly the ship, are you?
I don't fly with my feet, Commander, so I'm fine as long as I'm in this chair. I gotta be real careful when I get up to take a piss, though. I can do my job as well as anyone on the ship. Better, actually. So don't worry about it.
I'm not trying to make you uncomfortable. Let's talk about something else.
Whatever you want, Commander.
How's the Normandy performing? Is she everything they said she'd be?
She's the best ship in the fleet. If you've got a pilot who knows how to handle her. Balance isn't what you'd expect. Takes a while to get used to that oversized drive core we got stuffed in the back, and her power can sneak up on you if you're not careful. The Normandy's probably too much ship for your average Alliance pilot, Commander. Lucky for you, I'm anything but average.
Alright, I'll let you get to it.
I have to go.
Alright, see ya.
And down we go. I don't know what to call this. I guess this is the CIC command something, I don't know. We already talked to Bresley, but let's see if he has something new to say.
If anyone has to take over for Captain Anderson, I'm glad it's you. I'm not sure about having non-humans on our ship, though.
They're on our side, bro.
We're all on the same team here, Presley.
With all due respect, ma'am, that's what they said about Nihilus. Look how that turned out.
You doubting my
I'm in
decisions?
charge here, Presley. I decide if we have non-humans on this vessel.
Yes, ma'am. Understood, ma'am.
Yup. You have an
Speak
issue with them,
freely,
though?
Presley. I want to know if you have a problem with non-humans.
It's not that, Commander. Humanity has always handled its own problems. Saren attacked one of our colonies. We should be the ones to stop him. We don't need their help.
Well, never turn away help, right? If someone's willing to help, then why turn them
Some
around?
people think asking for help is a sign of weakness. That's just being stupid and stubborn. No matter how strong you are, allies can make you stronger.
I guess so.
Exactly.
Maybe I'm just stuck in the old ways of thinking. But don't worry, Commander. This won't be a problem.
Glad to
How
hear
did
it.
you end up assigned to the Normandy?
I signed up with the Alliance as a navigator right out of school, following in my grandfather's footsteps, I guess. My first posting was on the Agincourt. We were one of the first reinforcements to arrive at Elysium after the Blitz hit. Those raiders were no match for an Alliance frigate. Of course, the only reason the colony was still standing was because of you, Commander. I can't believe you held out as long as you did.
Of course I did. So that's relating back to the first episode where we created the character and I talked about the backgrounds of you can choose from, and I went with War Hero, which means that every time they talk about their experience of the Blitz because they were actually there, or whether they heard of it, then they'll mention you because they know you were there or I was there and I held off the enemy forces. Anyway, so now you're
How'd
here.
you end up on the Normandy?
I got my officer's commission after Elysium. Must have made an impression on the right people. Captain asked for me when he was picking his crew.
Alright.
Carry
You got
on,
it,
Presley.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. And downstairs we go because there's no one in there. That's the comm room. And we have Caden, and I think Dr. Chakwas is in the actual medical bay. But let's talk to Caden.
Anything you need, Commander?
I think you go for this one first and then tactical appraisal. I'm not sure. Looking for personal input.
Just trying to get a sense of where the crew's at. Thoughts?
I've wasted enough of your time for now, Commander. We'll have time for personal debriefings later.
Alright, tactical
What's
appraisal.
your opinion on the last mission?
I don't see how we could have done things any better. At least not without getting to Eden Prime sooner. And we were on the scene faster than any other Alliance ship could have been.
Alright, so he doesn't have that much to
We'll
say.
talk another time, Lieutenant.
Commander?
Which is fair enough. Usually the characters have something to say after every mission, but some characters you can only talk to once, like Commander Chakwas or Presley. I don't think they have opinions. I think Joker is the only one out of the crew that you don't take out of the ship that actually has opinions on every mission. I'm not sure though. I don't remember, so I'm going to check that with you guys in every episode after we complete a mission and we come back to the ship. But for now,
Yes, Commander? Is there something you need?
yes, I see. Now you can't ask about the captain.
I should go.
So
Goodbye, Commander.
there's nothing new. You know, we already talked to her. And let's keep continuing, and now you're going to see a new level that none of you have seen yet, which is the elevator that leads down to the cargo bay. Well, cargo bay, why did I pronounce it like that? Anyway, no, you have actually seen it in the second episode where we dropped down on Eden Prime. This is where the shots were taken, but you know, I guess we didn't see anyone walking down here. It was just mentioned that we're in the cargo bay. There we go, we have Karis and Rex here, so let's go ahead and, oh actually, Alliance Requisition Officer, let's see if we can maybe buy something for
Hey,
cheap.
Commander. Looking for some extra supplies before you head out?
What have you got?
Whatever you want. Armor, weapons, mods. It's not standard Alliance issue, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Well, as long as you don't mind paying for it.
Right.
Why should I pay you for my weapons and armor?
My stuff doesn't come from the Alliance. I have to purchase it myself, and it's not cheap. Hell, the
Right.
licenses alone have set me back more than I'd like. But no licenses, no goods. Without the goods, I'm out of a job.
Let's see what you
Right,
got.
okay.
You bet, Commander.
So basically, I like this. What they've done is that, you know, to buy stuff, you'd have to go onto the Citadel, or you land on a planet and find the vendor. But what they've done here is that they've actually placed the vendor with you, who like is on contract to work with you and provide you with weapons and stuff. And for him to sell different stuff, you need to buy licenses. I believe I bought one on the Citadel. But as you can see, I don't medical upgrade. That's pretty useful, so I'm gonna buy that. That we can hold more first aid, but you know, pistols, handing it out. You know, don't have enough money for this. I'm literally broke, and I don't have a lot of stuff to sell, so we're just gonna keep you there for now. Alright, let's talk to Garrus here.
Thanks for bringing me on board, Commander. I knew working with the Spectre would be better than life at CSEC.
You
Have
do?
you worked with the Spectre before?
Well, no, but I know what they're like. Spectres make their own rules. You're free to handle things your way. At CSEC, you're buried by rules. The damn bureaucrats are always on your back.
The rules normally exist there for a
For the most
reason.
part, the rules are there for a reason.
Maybe. But sometimes it feels like the rules are only there to stop me from doing my work. If I'm trying to take down a
Perhaps.
suspect, it shouldn't matter how I do it, as long as I do it. But CSEC wants it done their way. Protocol and procedure come first. That's why I left.
So you just
That was the
quit
reason?
because you didn't like the way they do things.
There's more to it than that. It didn't start out bad, but as I rose in ranks, I got saddled with more and more red tape. CSEC's handling of Saren was typical. I just couldn't take it anymore. I hate leaving.
That's a tough
I
decision.
hope you made the right choice. I'd hate for you to regret it later.
Well, that's sort of why I teamed up with you. It's a chance for me to get off the Citadel, see how things are done outside CSEC. Either way, I plan to make the most of this. And without CSEC headquarters looking over my shoulder, well, maybe I can get the job done my way for a change.
That
If getting the
depends.
job done means endangering innocent people, then no. We get the job done right, not fast. Got it?
I wasn't trying to. I understand, Commander.
So one thing about Tyrians, if you remember in the second episode, what Dr. Chakwas said, that, you know, some people consider them as too rigid, and to some extent it is true. They're a military-based society, so, you know, as you know, I'm the the commanding officer of Garrus. Then if I tell him something, then he'll understand to get in his place and follow my lead for the most part. And my character, you know, we're a war hero. We held off enemy forces and we saved countless of innocent civilians. So if there's a way to save more innocent people, we will go that route, even if it means the bad people will get away, because that's just the way it is. I don't want to endanger innocent people. So just had to point out that to him, but on the other hand, I don't really mind how he does his things as long as it's effective and doesn't endanger innocent people. Let's talk to Ashley here. Can you talk?
Do you have a few minutes to talk? One-on-one?
I'm sorry, Commander. I need to get my duty squared away. I wouldn't
Right.
mind talking more later, though.
How are we doing?
What's your opinion of the last mission?
Kinda wish you'd got there sooner, Commander. No offense, I appreciate the rescue. I just wish...
That we would have saved your
You
unit.
wish we'd been able to save the rest of your unit.
Yes, ma'am. If I had been more alert, we wouldn't have been cut down by an ambush.
You
We
couldn't
never
have
trained
known.
to fight synthetics. The Geth haven't gone beyond the Veil in 3 centuries.
Our training's supposed to make us able to adapt. I'll make sure it doesn't happen again.
Okay, fair enough, but yeah, you couldn't have known.
Dismissed, Chief.
You're dismissed.
Ma'am.
Alright. Here we can just do different equipment for all of them, because, you know, you get to choose 2 people to go out with you, and in this case, Rex.
Nice ship you've got, Shepard. What can I do for you?
Person in
What's your
Curry.
story, Rex?
There's no story.
Oh.
Go ask the Quarian if you want stories.
Come on, don't be an
You
ass.
Krogans live for centuries. Don't tell me you haven't had a few interesting adventures.
Well, there was this one time the Turians almost wiped out our entire race. That was fun.
Oof. Yeah, that's the backstory of the whole galactic setting and what took place before the game starts, so... And that's a pretty wild
I heard
one.
about that. You know, they almost did the same to us.
It's not the same.
And with my character saying that is because the first people we as humans met in the Mass Effect universe are Turians, and then we actually had a first contact war for a few years until things settled
It
down.
seems pretty much the same to me.
So your people were infected with a genetic mutation?
Well, I guess
An
no.
infection that makes only a few in 1,000 children survive birth?
Ooh, that's not
And I suppose
bad.
it's destroying your entire species?
No, it's
I
not.
suppose it isn't all the same.
I don't expect you to understand, But don't compare humanity's fate with the Krogan.
Alright, I won't.
Sorry, Rex. I wasn't trying to get you upset.
Your ignorance doesn't upset me, Shepard. As for the Krogan, I gave up on them long ago.
Oh, Rex.
The genophage infected us, but it's not what's killing us.
So how
Are people
come...
really dying?
We're sure not getting any stronger. We're too spread out. None of us are interested in staying in our own system.
So?
Lots of species have left their homes and prospered.
But they go to colonize new worlds. We're not settlers. We're warriors. We want to fight.
Right.
So we leave. Hire ourselves out. And most of us never go back.
Oh,
What can you tell
genophage.
me about the genophage?
Ask the Solarians if you want details. They made it.
Ooh.
All I know, it makes breeding nearly impossible. Thousands die in stillbirth, and most never get that far.
That must
Every
suck.
Krogan is infected. Every one. And no one's rushing to find a cure.
Why
Why?
don't the Krogan try to find a cure?
When was the last time you saw a Krogan scientist?
Okay, fair enough.
Ask a Krogan. Would he rather find a cure for the genophage or fight for credits? He'll choose fighting every time. It's just who we are, Shepard. I can't change that. Nobody can.
Alright,
So
I
long,
see.
Rex.
Shepard.
Shepard. I like Rex. He's also a very cool character. Engineer Adams, that's a new face.
Hey, Commander, you know that Quarian, Tally? She's been spending all her time down here asking me about our engines.
I'll
Is she
tell her to
bothering
leave you
you?
alone.
What? No, she's amazing. I wish my guys were half as smart as she is. Give her a month on board and she'll know more about our engines than I do. She's got a
Oh.
real knack for technology, that one. I can see why you wanted her to come along.
I did see
I
something
figured
in
she'd be a
her.
real asset to the team.
You got an eye for Tally, Commander. But I'm guessing that's not why you came down here.
So this dude knows everything about the stealth systems and the Normandy themselves, so let's first ask him about himself, and then let us ask him about the stealth systems, and let us get an explanation from Engineering Adams. Is that a fair way of saying it? Whatever,
Where
let's
else
go.
have you served, Adams?
If you name a class of Alliance ship, I've probably served on it. Everything from dreadnoughts and carriers right down to frigates like the Normandy. My last assignment was on the Tokyo, only a cruiser, but she was a good ship. Couldn't hold a candle to the Normandy, though.
Alright, stealth
Fill me in on
systems.
the IES stealth system. How does it work exactly?
You can't hide a ship out in space. They emit too much heat and radiation, too easy for sensors to pick them up, unless you find a way to capture those emissions. So our stealth systems trap the energy we give off in storage sinks built into the ship itself. No emissions to give away our location. Eventually the sinks have to be vented. More than a few hours silent running and they overheat. Cook us inside our own hull.
That's actually kind of smart, onto the point where it cooks us inside our own hull.
There's no way for anyone to detect us?
A visual scan can still pick us up. Anyone looking out a window can see us plain as day. But you have to be pretty close to get an actual visual out in space.
That's
Most
true.
vessels rely on scanners. As long as the stealth systems are engaged, they can't see us. Not unless we accelerate to FTL speeds.
Why doesn't it work with faster-than-light travel?
Cranking up to FTL blue shifts our emissions, pushes them into frequencies too high to capture in the sinks. As soon as we make the jump, it's like setting off a flare. Sensors can pick up our location whenever we enter or exit FTL flight, but for short-range missions, our stealth systems are amazing, and we've got the only one.
Ooh, let's go.
I
Alright,
want to know
Normandy.
more about the Normandy.
She's the best ship I've ever served on, probably the fastest vessel ever designed, and she's the only one using the new Tantalus drive core.
Drive
What's
core?
so special about the Tantalus drive core?
Proportionally, it's about twice the size of any other vessel. Not only are we faster, but we can run at FTL speeds longer before we have to discharge the core.
Aye, cool.
Carry on, Adams.
Aye, Commander.
Aye, Commander.
Your ship's amazing, Shepard. I've never seen a drive core like this before. I can't believe you were able to fit it into a ship this small. I'm starting to understand why you humans have been so successful. I had no idea Alliance vessels were so advanced.
Oh, this one is special, so normally they're not.
Prototype, cutting-edge technology.
A month ago, I was patching a makeshift fuel line into a converted tug ship in the flotilla. Now, I'm sitting on board one of the most advanced vessels in Citadel space. I have to thank you again for bringing me along. Traveling on a vessel like this is a dream come true for me.
Started from the bottom, now we're
I
here.
had no idea you found ship technology so interesting.
It comes with being a Quarian. The migrant fleet is the key to the survival of my people. Ships are our most valuable resource. But we don't have anything like this. We make do with cast-offs and second-hand equipment. We just try to keep them running for as long as we can. Some of the fleet's larger vessels date all the way back to our original flight from the Geth.
Jesus.
I can't believe your fleet's still using ships that are 3 centuries old.
They're constantly being repaired, modified, and refitted. They aren't pretty, but they work. Mostly. We've tried to make ourselves as independent as possible on the flotilla. Grow our own food, mine, and process our own fuel. But some things we just can't make on our own. A patch to maintain the hull integrity requires raw materials we just don't have. That's why our pilgrimages are so important.
Yeah, so basically the Quarians, the people who created the Geth for cheap labor, and then the Geth ended up revolting 300 years ago. They were in a massive fight, and the Quarians got pushed out of their home planet, and their solution was to start living on ships. I don't know why they did that, and now the only way they could actually ever go back to the planet is if they take back their home planet. But more on that later. Yeah. I'm pretty sure Tali covers it herself. If she doesn't, then I'll explain more. But let's ask about the
I want
pilgrimage.
to know more about the pilgrimage.
When my people reach maturity, we leave our birth ships and seek acceptance with a new crew. It's necessary to maintain genetic diversity among the fleet.
Fair enough.
But no ship wants to accept someone who will be a burden on them. So, to prove our worth, we embark on a pilgrimage. We set out
Makes
alone,
sense.
leaving the flotilla and our families behind us. We only return once we have found something of value we can bring back to the fleet. This is presented as a gift to the captain of the respective ship we wish to join. If the gift is accepted, we are welcomed into the crew.
Do they always
Can the
accept?
captain choose to reject the gift?
That doesn't happen often. Most captains are eager to increase the size of their crew. It increases their own standing in our society.
Okay.
Even when a gift is not particularly valuable, the captain usually accepts it out of a sense of tradition. However, there is a stigma to presenting a substandard gift. It's not the best way to make a good impression on a new community. Most pilgrims don't return until they find something worthwhile.
Alright, it does sound kind of dangerous to go out in the galaxy. Like, think about it this way, moving out from your family house, but in this case you're not moving out of your family house, you're literally going to places you've never been that are on the other side of the Milky Way.
I can't believe they just send you off alone.
It's not like they just cast us out. Before we leave, we are given lessons in how to survive outside the flotilla, and given gifts to help us on our journey.
Well, right,
we also
okay.
receive implants to fight off sickness and disease. Generations of living in an isolated and highly controlled environment have left our immune systems weaker than most. By the time we leave the fleet, we are well equipped for the pilgrimage. This is a rite of passage for all Quarians. If it were dangerous, our numbers would suffer. Virtually every pilgrimage ends with a triumphant return and the ritual presentation of the gift to one of the fleet's captains.
Alright, but there she mentioned it for a brief amount, so like living abroad in isolated, controlled environments has left their immune system weak. And because I don't exactly remember what their home planet was like, but it had something to do that it lacked bacteria, and it was the animals that did most of the spreading for plant seeds and so on, not bacteria and small bugs and so on. So when they left and lived on the ships for centuries, eventually that is the reason why they actually live in suits because their immune system is so weak that no matter what they come in contact with, even if it's their own ship that they live on, they're going to get sick because their immune system is not used to having any sort of germs or anything. So that's why they have to wear suits. It's a bit, unfortunate, but that's now part of their culture. They've adapted it, and you can make fancy suits. And Talia actually has a pretty cool suit with like a purple, pinkish, dark, dark purple again. You can see here from the picture, like a really cool hood and all. So it does look kind of cool, but at the same time, they can't touch anything with their hands or feel anything. It's a bit unfortunate. Anyway, let's change
I want to
topics.
talk about something else.
Like what?
Tell me about the
I want
GIF.
to know more about the Geth.
I doubt I can tell you anything you don't already know. It's been almost 3 centuries since they drove my people into exile.
Yeah.
All I know is the story of their origins. What they were when we created them, and how they turned on us.
Well, tell me then.
The Geth were originally created to serve as an automated manual labor force. Initially, their intelligence was as limited as any VI. Over time, we made small modifications to their programming to allow them to perform more varied and complex tasks, bringing them closer and closer to true AI status.
But AI research is illegal, right? Well, I wouldn't know that, but I just did, so in this universe, AI research is illegal. Mostly due to what happened to the
The
Geth.
council didn't step in and stop you.
This wasn't true AI research. We may have been skirting the bounds of the law, but we never did anything that was actually illegal.
Okay.
The changes were so insignificant, so gradual, that we were able to control them. Or so we thought. But one thing we underestimated was the power of the neural network. 1 million Geth thinking simultaneously created an inherently unstable matrix.
And a neural
So the
network.
Geth share brain power?
Many of the Geth's logic systems were designed to work in concert with other nearby Geth. Basically, the more of them you have in the group, the smarter they are.
Like a hive
So
mind.
there's some sort of group consciousness.
No, nothing like that. They cannot share sensory data or information. Their programming cannot handle that much simultaneous input. Each Geth maintains an individual awareness and identity. The neural network only operates on a process-based level. It's basically the synthetic equivalent of a subconscious.
Okay.
But when they're in close proximity, they can coordinate low-level functional processes, freeing up more capacity for original or independent thought.
I think I get it, but why did they turn on you then?
As we built more and more Geth, their effective intelligence became more sophisticated, more abstract. One day, a Geth began to ask its Quarian overseer questions about the nature of its existence. Am I alive? Why am I here? What is my purpose? As you can imagine, this caused a near panic among my people.
Well, why? Like, if an AI starts asking what the purpose is, I suppose it should be a warning sign, but that depends on how you handle the situation, in my opinion. But, in real life, we're nowhere near of having real artificial intelligence. Obviously, we have, rudimentary, but nothing like this.
What's so bad about those questions?
The Geth were created to engage in mundane, repetitive, or dangerous manual labor. That's fine for machines, but it won't satisfy a sentient being for long.
Yeah, okay.
The Geth were showing signs of rudimentary self-awareness and independent thought. If the Geth were intelligent, then we were essentially using them as slaves. It was inevitable the newly sentient Geth would rebel against their situation. We knew they would rise up against us, so we acted first. A general order went out across all Quarian-controlled systems to permanently deactivate all Geth. The Geth responded to this order violently.
Well, they defended themselves.
Hey, you can't blame them for fighting for their survival.
We had no other choice. The Geth were already on the verge of revolution. By acting quickly, we had a chance to end the war before it began. The hope was that most of the Geth would still be little more than machines, incapable of organized resistance. But they had progressed much further than anyone anticipated. The war
Yikers.
was long and bloody. Millions upon millions of Quarians died at their hands. In the end, we were forced to flee our own homeworld. We feared the Geth would pursue us, but they never came beyond the Veil. Now we drift through space, exile searching for a way to reclaim what was once ours.
Well, in my opinion, the right answer was not to kill them. It was to see whether or not there was to find a compromise and perhaps provide the Geth that were doing dangerous jobs a better armor, or actually give them a place in the society. And it could have worked, I think. At least I believe in that. But I guess not a lot of people do, because how can you say that something that you created, a machine, how is that alive? How can they have the rights to a position like that? So, but it backfired.
I feel sorry for you. Your ancestors tried to wipe out another species.
But there you go.
We made a mistake when we created the Geth in the first place. But we did not make a mistake when we went to war against them. If we had not acted, they would have wiped us out. They're a synthetic life form. They have no use for organics. None. Why do you think they cut themselves off from the rest of the galaxy? Why do you think they've killed every organic being who's ever tried to contact them?
Alright, well, didn't mean to make you upset.
I didn't mean to offend you.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get so worked up. Most Quarians tend to have pretty strong opinions about the Geth.
Yeah, it makes sense. It is already half an hour. Should we ask her about Quarians now? Let's leave it at that.
I should go.
See you later.
Yeah, see you later, Tally. And we'll come back and talk about your Quarians, or your culture, at a later stage. But that's it. We've crewed the ship. We know more about everyone else. Why Garrus left, Rex and their species are dying. The reason why Tally's species are exiled. And, well, Kaden didn't have anything to say. Neither did Ashley. We know that Joker actually has a brittle bone disease, but he seems to be a funny lad. But that's it for this episode. So literally just, walking around on Normandy, getting to know the crew. No real action in this episode, but stay tuned to the next one, because we're going to go out there and look for Liar Tassoni in the Outer Mistel cluster, as she's allegedly, or not allegedly, is the daughter of Matriarch Benezia, who is the ally of Saren. So whether or not she's on their side, or whether or not she doesn't know anything, still doesn't matter. It is an important thing to look into if you can get to her and maybe she knows something, or if she doesn't know something, perhaps she can still be of help. Anyway, thank you for watching this episode. I hope to see you in the next one.